How many times have you been running a Power Automate flow and the step fails and you said, man, I wish I could have done something to intercept that error, or I want to send a message if a step fails? That's not what we're going to take a look at today, is what we can do when a step fails, how we can take alternate actions. Hey, I'm Scott Gaines, and today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at what we can do when our steps fail in our Power Automate flow. Now, I'm probably the world's worst when it comes to doing this, and especially when I'm doing these demos. I just show you a straight line flow, just start from A and go to Z. What you really need to do is to put in steps if certain steps fail. You can make corrections or just do other things if your flow step fails, so that you capture that error, at least capture it, maybe send a message that your flow step has failed. So what we're going to take a look at today, this is a flow we were using last week where I was dropping a file into an upload folder and then I was uploading it automatically to Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a file based on whether or not this step fails or not. So let's go ahead and do that. So if we go to do a new step, I'm just going to go find my OneDrive connector, pick OneDrive, we'll create a file. And I'm going to use my upload folder here again. So let's go ahead and pick our folder. Actually, I don't want the root, sorry. I want my upload folder for this one. And then the file name on this one, I'm going to call this one success.txt. And then your file upload was successful. All right, so that's going to be a straight line flow, what you're probably normally used to seeing. So this is going to execute, this is going to execute, and this is going to execute. So what we want to do though is, if this step fails, we want to create an alternate file. So let's go ahead and click plus here and add a parallel branch. And what we're going to do, we're going to use the same OneDrive connector. And we're going to create a file. And we're going to use the same upload folder. And we're going to call this one fail.txt. And then we're just going to call this your upload has failed. Now the key to this is hitting the little ellipse here, the three dots, go to here, and then configure run after. All right, so if we click on that, so after this step runs, I don't want if it's succeeded, but I want it if it's failed. So if this step fails, I want this one to run. So we're going to hit done there. So basically, if this step runs and is successful, it's going to go to the create file side. If this step runs and it fails, it's going to go to this file side and it's going to create a fail.txt. So let's go ahead and save it. And what I did here is, this is normally a post function. So instead of the post, I've changed it to get so that I know that it's going to actually fail for me. And so let's go ahead and test that. So I've got my file explorer here, and all I've got to do is I'm going to go ahead and test this. Go test. And I just need to drop my file into this folder here. So let me go and drop my vendor2.txt in there. And then we should also see the new file, the fail.txt, creating there. So there we saw it got created, and if we open this up, we'll see that it's got our language in there for your file has failed. Your upload has failed. So there it is. All right. So obviously on this, I'm creating a file, which is kind of a silly example, but you can use this to create messages, or maybe in your flow you have the opportunity to correct it. If something goes wrong, you know what goes wrong, you can capture that. And in a parallel branch, go ahead and correct the error and resubmit it, perhaps. There's all kinds of sort of things you can do with this. So it's kind of important to capture your errors, just like if you're doing code, to go ahead and capture your errors in these flows so that you can handle them when you capture them. Now, if you're interested in this flow that I created here, this is from last week's video. I'll post a link to it here so you can kind of take a look at it. It allows you to automatically upload a file to Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. So hope you found some value in this. If you did, please like or give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you next week for the next week's video. Thanks. Bye.